What is going on, guys? I hope all of you are doing great out there in the world. And today, I have a very highly anticipated figure that I've wanted for quite some time. Even before they announced they were doing this, I was really hoping Nanmu was going to make a gorgeous, articulated Indominus Rex. And so, something with me is I always like choosing the other colors because I'm so used to seeing, you know, most of the regular ones on screen like everyone else, and seeing those figures come out for such a long time. And it's just really cool to see it in another paint scheme. Also, don't forget, in the movie, she had a sibling, so we don't know where that sibling went. She said she ate it. I refuse to believe they would let these two animals live next to each other with each other, spending that much money for one to eat another one. That's just me. So I'm just super excited. It looks awesome. So this is the Valkyrie 2.0. Now, the original one that they made was a statue in Indominus. It was quite some time ago. And the detail was really good, but it just wasn't there. And it's not even anywhere near the level of this detail. So I am so excited. I brought some Nanmus out here. 2 articulated and 2 statues so we can compare the size and also the coloration. I do have my Tiger Stripe Raptor. Not gonna lie, I actually thought this thing was brown for the longest time. It's really cool that it's not. I love that it's the Raptor orange, rather, the orange Raptor color from the Lost World. Alrighty. I don't even think I need the blade, which is very nice. Backdrop is kind of cool. Looks almost like a Jackson Pollock painting at the bottom. Still cool. Box is nice. That is not what I am. Oh, smells like brand new plastic. It does really have a smell to it, guys. Not kidding. How cool. Oh, the hands. I don't know how I want to display that. I'm very happy with that. I love the one palm on the floor, so it should be easier to display. These don't need stands anyway. It's cool they come with them. I'll show you my V-Rex. My V-Rex has been standing on the top of the shelf since I got it. So they stand very well. You can see some of the spines here. I'm very interested to feel, because it's poking through the plastic. They don't seem brittle. They seem, actually they seem like they can move around a little bit. That is very good. Look at him. He looks incredible. She, rather. Oh, let's come in here. Wow. You gotta be kidding me. The articulation is not loose on mine. It is really fluid. And like I've said this before, in the knife world, we call it hydraulic. It feels hydraulic. It feels very good. Like it's meant to move like that. So first off, very impressed. Gonna have to rewatch the movie to make sure we have the exact amount of spines here. It could be off, doesn't matter. Oh, wow, guys. And in case you are wondering where I purchased this is from Lana Time Shop. You have a little bit of paint rubbing here. I don't know if you can see that. And then a little bit up here. You know what's really funny? I don't know if you can see this. Do you notice how one brow horn is higher than the other? Huh. Weird. That could be in the film, but I don't think so. Oh, we'll have to check that out. Either way, listen, on Lana, it was much cheaper than it is on Big Bad. Through the roof, so happy. Little paint deformations don't get me, but I know it may matter to you. So I just want you to see what I'm getting here. As you can see, there's a little bit of, maybe they meant to do that on the teeth to make some of them look extremely white. But as you can see, there's a little bit of paint deformation here, here, and here. So on these brow horns, it's really not bad. I cannot believe how this thing looks. Look at the scalation, look at the detail. This looks like a custom figure. It looks awesome. Yeah, articulation on the arms, body. Well, let's see if they can kind of sprawl out here. Oh, very nice. So you can get some different movements here. And finally, a dino where their arms actually matter. You know what I mean? It seems like everything that is, you know, Carcharodontosaurus family or Rex family has quite small arms. So it's kind of cool to see, even though it's a fictional creature, to get to see a dino with what we, you know, always felt like the length of the arm should be. How cool. This is kind of crazy, guys. So if you can still get a hold of these or pre-order them, I definitely highly recommend it. We'll see how the tail pops in. Very small opening there, but Nanmu knows what they're doing. The legs look phenomenal. I'm very excited about the articulated toes. That's my favorite part. So you can have her stepping on a prey item as she's bending down, as if it's, you know, you can recreate that with the Rex. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. No, that looks too good. And we'll save that in a second. So the articulation on the toes is really good. The feet are moving really well, obviously on a ball joint, so you can kind of go up, down, left, right, everywhere you want to, as if it's your own joint. That's what I look for. The joints are moving great. I live in Central Florida, if you guys don't already know that, so I was working, I just got home, saw the package. It's like over 100, not kidding, outside the temperature, so this dino got to loosen up in the Florida heat. That's nice for me, for who, you know, if you live in Florida, down south, so I don't really have to heat it up with a hair dryer or hot water or anything like that. The summers here are so brutal, it does the work for you when the figure's waiting out there. Look at the hips, how you can have her standing. That's amazing. So just the amount of articulation you can do, the amount of poses is kind of endless, which is amazing. I'm gonna get the tail out. I'm gonna see if we can put the tail in here. Let's get her to chill. Oh, let's set her up like that. Whoa. All right, very cool. Can't believe how fast it got here, to be honest with you. I honestly thought it would take a while. I thought it was crazy how on Big Bat, this is like SH Monster has joint size, but they know what they're doing. It's kind of crazy that if you order this from Big Bad, you're gonna have to wait a little while. But I'll tell you right now, it's worth the wait for sure. Let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and try to plug in the tail, and I can never do that in front of the camera. So I'll just hold her here. The detail on the tail looks pretty good. I'd say it's a little subdued on like the horns and stuff. Oh, popped in perfectly, and you felt it click. And like I said, the figure is actually kind of warm right now, which is hilarious. So it went in pretty easily. Look at this monster. Wow. This is probably, just telling you right now from what I've been feeling, this is the best articulated dino, or figure rather, that Nanmu has ever come out with. So it will be interesting to see rather, how, if I can get her to stand up without a stand. The V-Rex, she's really top heavy. She's much heavier. Let me see here. Let's just get them out here. So here's the V-Rex. Look at the size difference. Let's get her kind of, so she's not standing like I have her standing up too tall, to where then she is taller than the V-Rex rather. So side by side, they're pretty close, but I'm gonna go ahead and say Indom is a little bit bigger, right? But the thing about this, it's gonna be probably hard to do it on camera, of course, right? This V-Rex has been standing very good, and I've seen people complain that they can't get this V-Rex to stand. I'm telling you, it's so easy. The tail is so heavy compared to this one. This tail weighs nothing compared to this tail. So it's just kind of cool. I think that it's awesome that there's like, they're changing. So if they see something that they can change in their, you know, upcoming future figures, they will. Now I can't get it to stand on camera with you guys, of course, so that's my luck. But I promise you, that V-Rex stands perfect. Let's see, let's go ahead and get out the stand then. I would love to replace one of the hands with that palmed hand grabbing on the ground. So, as you can see, I'm having some difficulty getting this figure to stand up on her own. I've actually never had this much trouble getting a figure to stand up. Obviously, not the end of the world. Let me get the stand here. I do love these stands, by the way. These are actually really amazing. Oh, and they made the stand smaller than they gave with the V-Rex, which is interesting. So let's see if we can open the claw here and just get her to stand up a little bit better. Yeah, that's perfect. I love the length of that, so we'll do that. Now I'll bring you guys back here to the head before I get too carried away wanting to compare sizes. Look at that face. Now, Nanmu's my favorite because of their mouths and the teeth. So let's see what the inside looks like here. Look, very nice, very glossy here. Looks wet. Love the teeth. Top of the jaw has a lot of beautiful detailed ribs. Look at the throat. You can't see that. I don't have a flashlight, guys. So back here, literally at the back of the throat, you can see an opening that goes down the throat. Just kind of crazy. Back of the mouth here, you can see there's an opening to the throat that it can close. That's pretty cool. Kind of crazy. Maybe there could have been a little bit more pink and red inside the mouth, but honestly, it looks very good. Articulation of the jaw is perfect. Mouth shut's perfect. Teeth interlock. They did a very good job with this. Way better than the V-Rex, because V-Rex's teeth don't interlock, which is like one of my favorite aspects about them when you see them in the movie. So, especially with this Indominus, they did a very, very good job. So you look at her belly, all white. Lots of scales. Every individual scale is going to be here. A little bit subdued on the belly. And like I was saying, the detail up here on the spikes was a little subdued. But unbelievable. Everything. I guess if I had to score it, like, out of 10, I would, for what you're getting for around $100, this is a 10 out of 10 to me. This is unbelievable. This is the best Indominus Rex figure you can buy for the money out there. I don't want to knock any very expensive companies out there, but there are some that cost an arm and a leg to get something like this. So that's really cool. One thing that I really wanted to compare this to was not just the V-Rex, it was the Lost World Raptor by Nanmu. I wanted to see the paint job of these two, and look, they look perfect together. Oh, how awesome. Raptor stand's pretty decent. Look at that. She's getting orders from her queen. That coloration is unbelievable. So that's perfect. Yeah, like I was saying, the paint job of the Indominus rather online looked brown to me. So the fact that it's orange, when I found out it was orange, I was like, oh, hell yeah, that sounds pretty awesome. See how good they do. They look so cool and so good together. I do love it in this color. It's just interesting to me, like when it comes to the new articulated Rexes, that they're not going to try a different paint job. Maybe a third one would have been cool besides just the brown and green. We like to see other stuff. You know, it would have been neat to have a T-Rex this color as well, you know. But just so cool. They look so good together. Their eyes are literally the same color. They're both that green, you know, with that slit, very Viper-like. They look so good together. I don't know if the Indominus's tail is a little short compared to the rest of the body. I also don't want you to think that because of the camera angle, but as you can see, let me compare it to the V-Rex tail. Especially with the width and everything, it's kind of crazy. So do you see the difference in size? The V-Rex tail is much larger and much heavier and really helps the figure balance on the shelf. Like, oh, it really helps a lot. So I don't know if people didn't like that and they went a different route, or, you know, what the deal is. It's interesting to me that everything changes, whether it's for the better or worse. You know, everyone has their own opinions with what they think is best for a figure. I thought it was funny that people said the V-Rex doesn't stand on its own. I've never had an issue until on the camera with you. I just took it off of the shelf. So I'll take away this gorgeous Raptor and I'll bring in, this is what I'm hoping the size of the articulated Rex is, but we know that's not going to be the case, of course. It's going to be much smaller. It's going to be like Indom size. This is their Lost World Buck Rex. Now, this is their old statue. This statue's been around for a few years. Look at the size difference in the head. Now, both these figures are around the same price, which is kind of funny, about around $100. And we all know who would win this fight. I mean, come on. So if you're thinking, you know, if you collect these statues from Nanmu and then you're getting the articulated and you're wondering if they're the same size, they're typically not going to be. I don't know if that has to deal with the pricing, why they call this a smart series, because they can keep the prices down. If that has to do with the size, I'm not sure. But there definitely is a difference. Now, last comparison with pretty much, I would say, my favorite Nanmu. When I saw this thing was available years ago, I could not believe this was a thing. The Mordred, or as you know, true fans know the name, the Ultimasaurus. So the Ultimasaurus that was supposed to be made in the Kenner collection for toys back in the day, but never got made. Look at the size difference there. Now, Mordred looks like it can definitely hold its own. Really cool. So you can see midsection. Head is pretty similar in size, but the body itself, and look at the size of the feet, the toes. It's just a whole nother ball game. I mean, it really is. I would say it's not that big of a deal. I mean, come on, but it's like 20% larger, 25% larger. It's pretty cool. So if you, like I said, if you have these amazing statues, it's really not that far off. Okay, it's not going to be exact, but it's not going to be that different. It's definitely not like a make or break here when it comes to the size. Also, I don't know if this is on a wire. It is. It is. Didn't return back down, pacing down rather. So yeah, I love the size of it. I love how it looks. I love the weight of these things. This one's fine if I have to use a stand. That doesn't bother me. I think it's one of the coolest things that Nanmu's ever produced. I mean, come on, you can't lie. This company has been killing it for years. And what was so funny to me is that they were a sleeper company for a long time. And when I first found, I still have my first Spinosaurus from them. And it's in the original JP3 color. And it just looks so good, but still, compared to what they're doing now, even, so this is what I'm trying to say, is Nanmu's old stuff is still better than most of everyone's stuff today. So it's just crazy to me that they're continuing to go and evolve, whether it's, you know, a few changes here and there, maybe not be the best, like maybe, you know, they can change how they applied the paint, or how they, maybe it's just how they packaged the figure, just scraped it, but it's not bad. You're just going to see blemishes and things like that. It's not going to be 100% perfect. I just don't want you guys to think you're getting like an Adele or something for thousands of dollars. This to me, though, I must say, is worth way more than what you're paying for it. It's unbelievable. I'll never forget. I was dying when this movie came out. I watched it so many times. It was so much fun. And it was, to me, the first Jurassic World is the best Jurassic World. And I was really hoping the new one was going to top that. It did not. But it was still fun. But how awesome. You can get her in so many poses. She looks so, so good. Yeah. It's a dragon. It looks like a tiger dragon. How cool is that? Yeah, the articulation is perfect. I'm probably, though, if you did, like I said, if you don't want to use a stand, you could put that palm hand and have her leaning down so she's on 3. That's probably the safest way to go. If you have room like that on your shelf, if you have like floating shelves that are only a few inches out, then you may have to try to put her sideways. That's what I end up having to do for a lot of my dinos. But still, you can do it like that. It'll look really, really cool. Can't stop playing with this thing, guys. It looks so, so good. Keep checking Lana Time Shop every once in a while, but if you can secure one from Big Bad, you're not, opposed to waiting. Get it wherever you can get it. This is the kind of figure that is going to be a hot commodity among collectors like myself. I would have paid a lot more for this, so this is amazing. I'm very, very happy. To me, it's a 10 out of 10. I love it. I love the Indominus. I love the design of this creature. It looks incredible. The articulation. Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. Everything is great. Just a few small paint blemishes on the head. Couldn't have been on the toes. Come on. But it looks so good. So thank you guys so much for stopping by and checking out this beautiful beast that I love so much. I really do. Such an amazing design. And I don't think we've ever gotten better than this when it comes to a really cool Jurassic Park style, you know, Henry Wu created dino, you know. I do still subscribe to the fact that Henry Wu put his own DNA in here because we have opposable thumb, which is something, you know, we don't have with dinosaurs. But how cool. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, checking out this gorgeous figure. I hope you guys can secure one when you can. It will be worth the wait. I am not kidding. So, and until the next time we meet.